Hello, everyone, and welcome to the live stream. So it's a meme about Elon Musk, and it says, "There's still no cure for cancer, but if 1 million more people pay the $20 Twitter X subscription fee, then billionaire Elon Musk will get much closer to his dream of becoming the world's first trillionaire." So, Elon Musk, as you can see, he is very close to becoming the world's first trillionaire. And I think that I normally have a bias against billionaires, but when you have a guy like Elon Musk who's actually using the money for good and not evil, I think he's using the money for good. But I mean, he's like going into outer space and he's building spaceships and he's building rockets and stuff like that. And then you have these other billionaires that are building gold statues. Or they're just like eating really healthy food and spending their money on stuff that is trivial. And at least you have Elon Musk, who is also a billionaire becoming trillionaire, but at least he's doing stuff for humanity, like good stuff, right? I don't agree with everything he says and does, but I think overall he's generally one of the better guys compared to he's definitely the best of the worst, that's for sure. And he's a billionaire. He doesn't care what I have to say or what Canada has to say. He doesn't care what Germany has to say or Russia has to say, I'm sure. Um, of course, he cares what probably South Africa has to say because he's from South Africa. He works for South Africa. Well, does he work for? Anyways, he's from South Africa, so his loyalty lies with South Africa. Even though we see him in the White House, at the end of the day, he's still from South Africa, and he is a South African, and he is, they're probably really proud of him in South Africa. They're like, it's amazing. Who knew that a guy from South Africa who was born in South Africa, who is a South African national, probably even a foreign agent of South Africa, who knew that a guy like that could end up in the White House? Amazing, right? I mean, I'm from Canada and I can't even like they don't even take Canadians seriously anymore, Americans. Like Americans, they don't take Canadians seriously. Like if I'm a Canadian and if I went to the White House, I wouldn't be able to get like, they wouldn't I went if I went first off, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go to the White House. And I'll tell you why, because it just grosses me out. Like knowing that Bill Clinton fucked everything in the White House, like even the house plant, like even the plants and even those house plants in the White House probably got like a taste of Bill Clinton. He fucked everything. Like so I would just be grossed out. I just wouldn't want to touch anything because it's like all of the president's, junk is all over the White House walls. And so I personally wouldn't want to go anyways to the White House, but if I did, if I had to, they wouldn't think my Canadian ass was funny. They'd probably throw my ass out of the White House. I'd be evicted. I wouldn't even be given a tour. I'd be like denied a tour. I wouldn't even make it on the lawn. I don't even think I'd make it to the city where the White House is. So and I'm Canadian, and so that's great. This guy Elon Musk, he's a South African, and he made it all the way to the White House. Amazing. Like kudos to uh, Elon Musk. And Elon Musk is very intelligent, and obviously he's very smart, and it's a good to have it's good for America to have a really intelligent South African national in their American White House for sure. I think that Elon Musk is going to do so much wonderful things for South Africa being in the White House of the United States of America. So I think Elon Musk is just very a good person, and generally speaking, he's gonna do great things for South Africa. And yeah, so I'm new to live streaming. I've only been live streaming for 2 weeks. I'm very usually a shy person. Hold on a sec. Sorry, my phone is buzzing. There's someone's texting me, I think. My phone started buzzing. Anyways, so I'm new to live streaming. I just got 50 subscribers, and you have to now I have 100, but before I had 50, and you can't do live streaming until you reach 50 subscribers. So I finally got 50 subscribers, and then I was able to unlock the live streaming, and so I've just been doing it now for 2 weeks. I'm really trying working on my live streaming skills. So if anyone has any questions, um, or if anybody wants to throw garbage at me, well, you can't because it's the internet, right? But I people have thrown garbage at me a few times. I can't afford to have a car, so I usually walk everywhere. And one time I was walking to work, the bookstore I work at, and these teenagers, they were driving in like a sports car, and then they threw their garbage at me, and then they laughed. Um, so good, good times. But usually people don't talk to me. So, except that one time, when I was leaving the bookstore, and I got jumped by these guys, and they were really surprised that a person who works at a bookstore, um, like had a lot of money. But it wasn't a lot of money. I had like $200 in cash on me, right? Because I don't really like to use credit cards or debit cards because I'm always scared and I'm always worried that someone's gonna take my debit card and rob me. So I carry cash on me usually, and I was carrying $200 in cash. And then the guys that jumped me, they're like, "Yo, yo, yo, give me your bag, mother," and they were being kind of mean. And then I was crying, and then he's like, "Yo, be a man. Are you crying?" You know, like, and then they mugged me and they took my money. But at least they didn't take my favorite book. And my favorite book is a book about Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla, the famous scientist and inventor. It was my favorite book, and it was in my backpack. And I just begged them. I said, "Okay, if you thugs want to take the $200, okay, but please, like, don't take my book." And they're like, "We don't want your stupid book, some stupid scientist." And they started laughing at me, and they're like, "Ha!" Like, And then they took my $200. So I was scared after that to walk home from the bookstore. I was scared a little bit, but then I realized that, like, it's not like an everyday occurrence that someone gets mugged. So I got over it, and eventually I was okay. I still save a lot of money by not having a car. It's really expensive to have a car. So by being able to walk to work and walk home from work, it still saves me money. So even though I lost $200, if I had been having a car, then like that would be way more expensive, right? So, I'm still doing well in terms of saving money. But it is scary sometimes to at least I can get my car stolen. Like if the mugs, not the mugs, the muggers, the muggers who robbed me and then who stole my money, my $200. It could have been worse. They could have stolen my car if I had a car. So at least So walking to work is still better. It's still safer. It's still cheaper than having a car. And even if I lost $200 one time in cash. So yeah, so I felt traumatized. I kind of have a bit of post-traumatic stress disorder ever since those muggers mugged me and stole my money. And they called me cracker. They called me white guy. They called me other names that were really bad. And but I can't show it to you now. But yeah, I have my favorite book is the Nikola Tesla book, which is all about my favorite inventor and author and scientist, Nikola Tesla, because he's done so much great things for humanity. And he's so brilliant. And a man with a mind, like a brilliant person, a brilliant man, is really nice to see. And I like watching movies where the men are like noble. where they're like heroes. But typically lately, I noticed in movies that the men are more like thuggish. They're thuggies. They're like they act like thugs, and they're gangsters, and they're robbers, and they're muggers. And I missed the old days when the movies where it had the men were heroes. You remember? You know what I'm talking about? When maybe it was the 1980s or the 90s when a lot of typically the movies had men that were strong and masculine, and they were tall and they had muscles, and they were heroes. They were like really strong, and they came to save the day. They weren't coming to rob you and to be like a thug and to steal your money. They were men of honor. They were men of, and that was literally a movie. I think Men of Honor was a movie, but you know what I mean. They were men of honor, and they were noble men, and they were heroes, and they were masculine and strong, and they weren't like feminine. They weren't like thuggies. They weren't like gangsters.